Hello friends, in the last class we discussed about interdisciplinary approach towards learning. We discussed that new and radical knowledge is produced in the frontiers of disciplinary knowledge. We saw that how practitioners from science and technology have often talked about art and the need to incorporate art in their research and in their work, and also practitioners of art have often talked about the need of the rationality or the logic of science and technology and how it helps to think their work better. So, today in today's class let us see some example how bringing together science and technology to, along with art, what responses they produce, what are the kind of things that are produced when science and technology is brought together with art. So, let us see how what are the responses that are produced when art meets science and technology. I have put together some examples around the world when artists or practitioners of science and technology has brought art along with their work, or artists have brought science and technology with their work, and what are the results that are produced when this kind of interdisciplinary methods are used. This is remote sensing by Susan Anker. This is an artwork done by Susan Anker. In her remote sensing series, Susan Anker uses the Petri dish to juxtapose microscopic and macroscopic world. The title refers to new digital technologies that can picture places too toxic or inaccessible to visit. The fabrication of this piece began in 2D, two-dimensional digital photographs, which were then converted to 3D virtual models. The Petri dish with its luxuriant growth emerged from the 3D printer. So, here Susan Anker has experimented on a Petri dish by bringing together microscopic and macroscopic worlds, and this is what the result is produced. It is a beautiful artwork which is produced on a Petri dish. This micro landscape often offered the viewers a top down topographic effect assembled by zeros and ones. Each configuration of this work takes the geometry of a circle inspired by the Petri dish and crosses the divide between disciplines of art and science. So, have a look at this, how beautiful the artwork looks when science and technology is brought together to give an artistic turn. Next is Deep Sky Companion by Liam Haroran. The 18th century French astronomer Charles Messier set his telescope sights on the grand prize of finding a lonely wandering comet. He ended up amassing an astronomical inventory filled with galaxies, clusters and nebulae. A catalogue of 110 objects is credited to his journal and drawings. Deep Sky Companion is a series of 110 pairs of painting and photographs of night sky, object drawn from Messier's catalogue by Leah Haroran. Each painting in the Deep Sky Companion series was created in ink on semi-transparent paper. So, this is a series of 110 paintings and it was created on by ink on semi-transparent paper, which was then used as a negative to create the positive photograph equivalent using standard black and white darkroom printing. This process connects to the historical drawing by Messier, here redrawn and then turned back into positive through a photographic process mimicking early glass plate astrophotography. Now, have a look at this. This is a painting done by Liam Haroran, and this mimics the astronomer Charles Messier's telescopic sights. The next is Cassini's mission by Daniel Zeller. The Cassini's mission as a launching point for this drawing. Cassini's 20-year mission ended in September 2017 when it crashed into Saturn. The Saturn's largest moon has an atmosphere, deserts and seas. It is an alien world with some characteristics we can relate to. This was the theme of this art created by Daniel Zeller. Zeller says the probe generated so much fascination source material that it was difficult to choose any single viewpoint, but there was something particularly intriguing about the image of Titan that Zeller finally settled on. Grayscale imagery naturally lends itself to broad interpretation, and the radar mapping method suited his curiosity and his process. It seems to relay its subject as somehow simultaneously familiar and completely alien. Titan's surface became a scaffold on which he could build and explore. The relative ambiguity of the source image allowed him wide latitude to interpret the moon as a stand-in for an not yet discovered world or landscape, while still allowing it to be grounded in the recognizable projection of topography. So, the artist describes us how he has created this artwork and what are the inspirations he has drawn from. So, he has drawn his inspiration from the Cassini's mission, which ended in 2017, and it actually crashed in Saturn. So, these are the background of this art that he took inspiration from. So, you can see how science and technology is depicted in this artwork, how art is inspired by discoveries or inventions done in the field of science and technology. This is Higgs boson by Javier Cortada. This art by Javier Cortada honors the Nobel Prize winning discovery of Higgs boson, the particle that imbues all the others with mass. 5 banners depict the 5 experiments used to make the discovery. So, this is a combination of 5 panels of painting. Identifying the Higgs required the most complex machine human have ever built, the Large Hadron Collider. The particle accelerator shoots protons at almost the speed of light along a 27 kilometer tunnel. Every second 40 million protons collide with one another. This high energy collision make few particles and new mass. The LHC's detectors did not directly measure the Higgs. They measured the path taken by proton, quarks and electron created in the collision. The curvature of the path revealed the charge and momentum of the particles and the size of the signal their energy. The data told scientists there was another particle, the Higgs boson, produced in the collision. So, you see how scientific research has inspired this kind of artwork, and how artwork has art and artists have potential to depict very complex scientific research and how they can be depicted in artwork. This is artistic chemistry of Kim Keever. Kim Keever devised a method in which he drizzles paint into a 200-gallon fish tank, creating some magnification effect before taking photos of the colorful chemical reaction. His work is so amazing that it fascinates you, also leaving you puzzled, questioning which medium you are actually observing. So, here the artist has experimented with the medium, and here what he has done, he has drizzled paint into a 200-gallon fish tank, creating some magnification effect. And then he took photographs of this effect. So, it incorporates different kinds of medium, and you are left puzzled looking at the artwork, which medium you are looking at, whether you are looking at the colors of the paint, colors of the paint, or you are looking at the photograph, or the technique used. So, it incorporates very many different methods. Eric Stanley's paper and lasers. Stanley's paper cut artwork. This is a paper cut artwork expands the traditional use of the medium as he works with lasers threaded with its upward of 250 sheets of archival paper. The most impressive aspect of this production is the amount of detail he is able to achieve in his piece are incredible detail and miniature. So, he has there are a paper cutting technique in traditional art also, but what he has done, he has used laser to make this artwork, and it looks amazing the amount of detail he has brought about. Robotics of Yuri Suzuki. Another creative who relies heavily on science is Japanese designer Yuri Suzuki. He is mostly famous for his work with Will.i.am, namely Pyramidi, a piece made out of a trio of robotic instrument, deconstructed version of a piano, a guitar and a drum. The fascinating skill of engineering a piece like Pyramidi would be impressive enough, but Suzuki takes it another step forward and grants it an artistic note. So, just observe how this artwork has been done. He has combined a lot of things, engineering and artistic perspective, and this artwork has been created with combination of engineering and artistic skills. Kai Guoquag and his explosion. Kai is a Chinese author who loves to experiment with the explosive nature of gunpowder and its modern variations, initiating what he loves to call ignition event. After the control explosion, we are left with traces of an image that are literally burned into the surface. Kai also works in installations and performances, often combining many elements of engineering and science in order to achieve the desired effect. So, this is another example where science and technology is used to create artwork, and you are left baffled as to what you are looking at. Are you looking at an engineering marvel, or you are looking at a beautiful piece of art? So, this work was done with gunpowder. Real gunpowder is used to create this artwork. The fascination with internet. So, many artists have been fascinated with the internet, and many have been working around the idea of the internet. This is one such example. Logically, much of modern production that is somehow tied to science is concentrated on the internet and the online world that altered the art scene in so many ways, providing an opportunity for literally anyone to display his work and for this audience to seek out a piece that interests them, not to mention the way the internet impacted the art market. So, internet has impacted all of our lives, it has impacted the artist, it has impacted the audience, it has impacted the people who work with science and technology, it has impacted everyone. Petra Cartwright creates her painting in order to explore issues of online consumption, rendering them in aluminum and making endless modification to the computer file until she is satisfied with the result. So, this is how she creates her artwork. Another internet obsessed individual is Parker Ito, a man who relies on the reflective quality of 3M Scotch-Guide fabric, which he translates on a computer screen. So, people have been working in various ways with the computer, with the internet, to create different kinds of artwork. Pure digital production. So, this is another example where digitally artworks are created. We also have to mention the medium of strictly computer based art, a technique that is completely exclusive to modern times. Some of the most interesting and successful computer inventors out there are Charles Surrey, considering the father of computer and production, considered the father of computer art and computer graphics; Kylie McDonnell, an artist and a hacker; Sarah Lodi, she actually does magic tricks with pixel; and James George explores the way how we see the world around through technology. But there are also creatives like Jody Phillips David Stern and John Raffman, who experimented with the potentials and boundaries of computer art. So, I am sure many of you have also tried doing artwork digitally with your own imagination. This is another branch of art now, which is digital art, and this is one such example. The aesthetics of computer drawings and paintings. We should also mention creative practitioners who have not based their creative digital effort on conceptual theories, but instead decided to focus on pure visuals and wonderful aesthetics, standing out for the beauty of their animation pieces. We mentioned Bobby Siu, Cristino Siqueira, Daniel Conway, Chris D. Lara and Tai Young Choi. So, this is another section where people are doing computer drawings and paintings. So, there are other people also who are trying to combine traditional art with the modern, and different results are created when this kind of combination come together. Michael Manning starts every single one of his work with a computer program, acting out the experience of dabbling in oil paint and later printing them, imitating the physical appearance of an actual acrylic brushstroke. In many ways, Michael Manning's practice is painting. In painting, video, sculpture and computer based work explores the relationship between technology and the analog. So, here there are people who are trying out different methods of combining the traditional methods of painting with modern methods. This is one such example. So, this artist actually starts his painting with a computer program, then dabbling with oil paint and later taking a printout of them. So, it creates different kinds of results, different kinds of artistic results. Technology and performing art. Technology in performance field largely emerged with Fluxus and Gutai, two international 1960s avant-garde movement that attempted to establish new artistic vocabularies. In this day and age, there are many performers who rely on technology to make the most out of their shows. One of the most impressive artists of this type is undoubtedly Chris Milk, a man whose pantomime-like performances have been astounding audience for years. So, there are many artists in the present world who likes to incorporate technology in during the performances, whether it is lights, whether it is sounds, whether it is other multimedia. There are artists who likes to incorporate lot of technology in their performances, but at first it was started by two movements, Fluxus and Gutai during the 1960s. Photography and film. Photography and film are two similar mediums that are almost always mentioned when discussing contemporary techniques that use technology to their advantage. With numerous filmmakers and photographers out there, we shall name an interesting and unusual Ben Trickbank, a young author who decided to make use of his extensive scientific knowledge and talent for shooting films to make interactive movies in which the viewers are responsible for the course the film will eventually take. So, even in film and photography, people have often made use of the current or the developments in technology to produce different results. This is one such example. Incredible shows of Raphael Lozano Hammer. There are also various artists who set up installation pieces based on science depending on effects only modern technology is able to provide them. One such creative personality is Raphael Lozano Hammer, a Mexican installation master whose impressive laser pieces have been astounding audiences worldwide. So, the artists have also used in the shows lot of technology, lot of lights, sounds, etc. One such is Raphael Lozano Hammer, a Mexican installation master. He uses a lot of lights and technology for his shows. Manipulating the sound. Much of the sound artists also quite dependent on the technological advancements, as the work of such artists like John Wayne could never be realized if science did not intervene. Controlling sound may be much more complex and diverse than what you may expect. So, make sure to check out artists such as aforementioned Wayne. So, there are artists who like to experiment with sound, and if we did not have the science behind the sound, if we did not have the technology behind sound, the artist probably wouldn't have been able to do such experiments with their art. So, this is one more example where science and technology has aided or been used by the artist for their artworks. So, friends, in today's class we have seen how science and technology can be brought together along with art to produce different kinds of effect. This is one of the focus of this course is to see how science and technology can be incorporated, or science and technology can be expressed, or science and technology can be brought together to have a dialogue with art, and what are the responses that this produce. But I should also mention that much of this work I have picked up from, it is courtesy many of the sources that are available on the internet, because books are rare in this field. So, I have given you the sources in the slides, go and have a look at it, and you will find more information about them in the sites. So, as the focus of this course is on folk art, so today we have done artwork which are not considered as folk, but in the next class let us see how folk art can also be brought together with science and technology, and what responses they can be produced. So, see you in the next class.